Dude, welcome, bro. We got Jeff Wittek.
Wittek. Kind of like wit, like witty.
You pronounce the T.
Yeah.
Wittek. Wittek.
Or you could say dick, like suck your own dick.
Suck your own dick. I love you already. Listeners, viewers, whatever, however you're digesting this, we recently just did your show, which is, what's the title of the show?
Jeff's Barbershop.
Jeff's Barbershop, where you cut my hair.
It's like a YouTube wacky talk show.
Right.
While I cut your hair, you were hilarious. It was difficult to edit because you were so funny, and I need to cut them down to the best bits, and the whole thing was great, man.
Tell me more.
You're a maniac. It was great, but in a good way.
That's how my brain works. I feel that we should quickly tell the listeners, viewers, what would they most know you for? What did you do before the barber shop? Did you was it Vine, Instagram, YouTube? How did you set it off?
I did a little bit of Vine. Not like you though. You were funny, man. I loved your Vines. I didn't take it serious until I got arrested. I went to jail.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that.
And then when I got out, I kind of got introduced to these guys like Rudy Mancuso, and these guys were just like, dude, we gotta shoot some stuff together. And I was like, cool, man, let's do it. And then being friends with those guys, all they got to do is revine your thing once, and then all of a sudden you got a career in this business. It's like kind of was like a handout, but that obviously died and nothing came from it. But then I started doing the YouTube stuff. I cut hair before I did YouTube, and I would kind of like make videos on that, but I always liked doing comedy and stuff like that, so I just figured out a way to incorporate it, and yeah, that's what we're doing now.
It's great. I was telling you earlier, it's the best shit is when you look at it and like, how has nobody done this yet? Like, it's such a good structured way to have a guest be interviewed. It's like I've never seen, I guess LeBron James has the barbershop show, but it's different because
he's
that's
not
more
cutting the hair himself.
Yeah, exactly. They're just
He's
talking.
just hanging out with barbers there, like working in the background.
Yeah.
I have the person on edge because they have this psychopath who might be on drugs. You don't know if I'm fucking losing my mind. And now you have to trust me with your haircut. That's irreversible. You can't put the hair back on.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. I always thought that, but in jail, the barber, that could be a risky thing to go get your hair cut in prison by a guy who's cutting hair because he's just got a weapon to slit your throat. Like, what if there was some political prison beef and you went to get your hair cut? And so I guess if you're cutting hair in jail, which you did,
yeah,
jail, not prison, right?
Jail, yeah.
In Miami?
In Miami is when I cut hair. I was arrested here too for weed, and I wasn't there for long enough to get time to cut hair and stuff like that. But when I was arrested in Miami, the first night I got in, they put me with my bunkie, and he happened to be the barber for the entire dorm. So he was cutting 100 guys' hair. And you know how political it is with like races and stuff like that. Right. Everybody sticks to their own pact. It's like so behind.
Yeah.
But, now I'm a white guy that comes in.
Oh, you're white? Okay, good.
Yeah, for the audio listeners.
Right, listen.
I know I have a little twang in my voice. That's fucking New York in me,
Yeah.
So I was cutting hair, and I cut everybody's hair. I know how to cut. I grew up in New York, so I just worked in a diverse barbershop. It was all types of guys. I was the only white guy in the barbershop, so I had the skills to cut their hair, but they didn't trust me, and everything's so just spread out and when you're in there. And I almost started a fucking race riot, dude. I had these people that were pissed that I was cutting hair, but I happened to be in this one magazine in The Source. The Source is like a hip-hop magazine.
Yes.
I happened to be in there for cutting Wiz Khalifa's hair, and they had a picture of me, and this was like my street cred to prove to these guys that I was good enough. And then like the fucking race riot stopped right there when I pulled out the magazine. Thank God, I would have got my fucking head bashed in.
That's incredible, the prison politics. I spent one night in jail and butt fucked 4 dudes, and it was just one night. But getting back to what your experience in jail, how long were you in jail for?
I was in jail for 4 months in Miami, and then here was only a few weeks because as long as you don't do anything violent, like you don't try to fucking kill somebody,
right?
They kind of kick you out of the jails because they're so overpopulated here in LA. It's insane.
I would imagine any Florida jail. I mean, I guess, so I got a buddy of mine who's been in and out of prison in California, and I'd go visit him all the time, and it was a lot of that politics. Like, I got to see firsthand how like segregated it was and the tension and feel it. What's worse, Florida or California prison?
Oh, California's way worse.
Really?
I would do a year in Florida.
Why?
Just because over here it's just so much. Like, there's not even COs in the jail here, like a
Oh, you
correction
just left
officer.
to your own shit.
It's run by the, like whoever is higher up in there. So you got like a gangster making sure you make your bed in the morning and do your push-ups. Like push-ups are mandatory to keep your crew sharp. So
Politics.
yeah.
So you had to roll with the whites, and my buddy who told me he's a Caucasian male, he's actually Jewish, but he had to roll with the white boys because they populate.
What's his name? Jason Nash?
No, not Jason Nash. My boy Ben, I call him Penitentiary. Ben.
I think I've seen him in your stuff before. He's a real big guy.
Yeah, tatted up, and he's always doing time. I'm actually gonna have him on the podcast because he has the best prison stories. But he told me like the whites and the Hispanics accumulate to populate about 50%. So they kind of have to posse up, and then the blacks obviously, and then there's like the 5%
If you got like a Hawaiian
Asian.
guy,
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
an Asian. You join with the blacks and others.
Well, now that he's over 40, he's considered an OG by California rules. So when he was in recently, this is a crazy story. He was in recently, and he said that he's allowed to opt out of something. If they're like, hey, we're going to beat this dude up, he can say, now, I don't want to get my hands dirty. I'm going to stay out of this one because he's over 40 and he's an OG. So he said he recently
He's in the
was
senior citizen program.
Yeah, exactly. He said, and he had a Star of David tattooed on his back, and they had to cover it. Like when they accepted him in the white gang.
What they covered with the swastika?
Yeah, exactly. I forget what they covered. It was something just so they're like, because they wanted him as a soldier for the, and because a big, strong dude. And he said, that this dude comes in and his paperwork said that he was a sexual predator. So and he was a white guy.
Oh,
so
yeah,
all
bad.
So they mopped him up and he opted to not beat him up. Then they found out after they mopped him up, he just took a piss behind a dumpster. So he pulled his dick out. They just saw the paperwork before even asking him. And he's like, it was the worst thing to see this dude beat the fuck down. And all he did was piss behind a dumpster. So he always tells me, never piss in public because I seen what could happen. Mm-hmm. Isn't that fucked up?
Yeah, no,
that's crazy. Did you
think,
see any crazy
I
shit?
don't know if it's the same charge though. I mean, I guess it is. I don't know.
I just saw the paperwork. I guess it was a color. Like it came in
charge,
yellow, whatever. I don't understand how it works, but he said it came in as that they just thought he was a sexual predator. And then they found out afterwards.
Yeah.
Did you see any crazy shit like that happen?
Yeah. So I was only in jail in LA for a month. I got charged with felony evading. I was in a motorcycle doing like wheelies and stuff, making a stupid video. And the cops came after me to chase me, and I was like, fucking, I'm on a dirt bike. I mean, like as a kid, I was always just like, you skid, you take off the other way. A car has to do a 3-point turn and come after you, and they're not even supposed to chase you legally.
Right.
But they chased me. They fucking got me. There's helicopters
This was in Cali.
over here. Yeah.
Oh shit! You had the choppers come out.
The choppers, but I didn't hear it because I'm on the bike with helmet on. And they did get me easily. I mean, it wasn't that hard with fucking helicopter and But so because it was nonviolent, it sounds like a serious crime. I was really just fucking around. I was stupid. This was like 5 years ago. So I was a little younger, a little stupider, and they kicked me out after, they let me out after 10% of my time because it was nonviolent and they just need to get people out. But in that short period of time, it was fucking nuts because you can't even look at a fight. If a fight breaks out and you're caught looking at it, like think about if a fight is happening right now and people don't all go like this and start like watching it, then nobody's going to know it's even happening. Everything looks normal.
Right.
So if something happens, you need to let them do their shit. And you can't even watch it. And
so
now you're
hard to not watch.
You get no entertainment, bro. You don't have a
Oh,
TV. You have
man.
nothing. You stare at a wall all day, and finally, a little action happens. You're like all excited. So I got caught looking at it, and they told me afterwards, they're like, "Look, you get a strike, you get 2 strikes, 3 strikes. That's gonna be you there getting busted up."
Wow.
So I'm like, "Fuck, man, I need to train myself to."
Yeah, you got to learn that shit quick, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm fascinated with that stuff. I always watch those prison documentaries, and there's a show on, I think it's called, where people go undercover in jail with hidden cameras, and I forget what it's called. To me, that's like I always wonder what I would do to survive. And I think I would just, first day in, they'd be like, "What's your name?" I'd be like, "They call me AIDSy," and I'd suck my finger. And they'd be like, "Yo, let's just leave this one alone." You know what I mean?
That's a good plan.
Or they call me Dick Chompy. You know what I mean? I'd be like, "I'm gonna chomp your dick off." They'd be like, "This dude's fucking crazy." I'd have to do something smart. Or like Riff Raff, when he went to jail, my boy Riff Raff,
Yeah.
he said he survived by making him laugh. He was the funny guy.
Yeah.
And you got to use whatever you got. And I don't have the muscle or the stabbing abilities.
Yeah.
So I think I would be like the court jester and be like clowning with the boys. But then you got to be careful because if you're joking around, you say one wrong thing, it's like, you know what I mean? Some Goodfellas shit.
It's kind of like podcasting.
You making fun of me? Yeah.
Yeah, one wrong thing, you're finished.
Except that here we can edit it. I don't think you can edit within the live world of prison or jail. So you're from no, I'm sorry, not Long Island, Staten Island. The
Staten
other
Island, yeah, same shit.
Wu-Tang Clan, part
Yeah.
of your childhood. You grew up listening to Wu-Tang Clan. What are the rappers?
They used to
from
come
there?
to my barbershop, barbershop when I was like 14, 15 years old when I first started cutting hair. They would come in and they were like, they are legends, but they were like the fucking president walking in the barbershop.
I mean, they are the legends from Staten Island.
Yeah.
I lived in New York for 5 years, and I think that's the only borough I never went to. I think I never went because you had to take the ferry for like 40 minutes or whatever.
Yeah,
How far
or
is
you
it?
could take the bridge. It doesn't matter. And the only reason you need to go there is to try like some pizza or,
Yeah, what's the pizza spot there for listeners who get to go get a slice?
I like Brothers Pizza. Danino's is good. I mean, I don't get.
Is it just a slice?
I've been
Just
gone
like
for a while.
plain
It's
slice?
just a regular slice, yeah.
Now, cutting a black guy's hair is it different than cutting a white guy's hair? Because I have a thing whenever
Yeah,
I go
yeah.
to get a haircut, if there's like I usually want a gay white dude,
Okay.
or a girl to
Yeah.
cut my hair. Like if there's some like straight older guy or like or even not being racist, but like if there's a brother in there, I don't know if they understand white guy's hair. So
Yeah.
how does that work for you cutting both races and it's a different type of hair?
Yeah, that's a good question. I started cutting hair and I learned on myself. So I just did my type of hair for the first year that I was doing it. And then, it was just so much business I was missing out on. And then I just started doing it out of nowhere one day, but I needed to, I didn't really know what I was doing and I had to be coached through it. You have to go the other way. So when you cut white guy's hair, it's, it's against the grain.
Right.
But when you cut a black guy's hair, it's with the grain. So you're coming down with the clipper.
And that's
it's
not
the
racist.
complete opposite.
And that's not racist. It's just the way the hair grows.
No, it's not racist.
What about pubic hair? Do you cut your own pubic hairs, or do you remember that trimmer, the beard trim?
I use that one. The one I did.
The one I did my hair. Yeah,
the one I
great.
did your
Yeah,
hair
perfect.
with.
Yeah, that explains a lot. Yeah, so you recently cut my hair. You did a great job. All the viewers have been tuning in saying, "Who cut your hair?" It was Jeff.
Oh, nice. Thank you, man.
So, do you cut hair as a real thing on the side anymore? Is it
No.
pretty much
I'm so, it's just, I need to prioritize my life, and haircuts aren't doing it for me anymore. I make videos now, so that's at the top of the list. Like
Right.
I do it to maintain relationships with like good friends that I don't get to see anymore.
Right.
I'll still cut their hair and stuff like that. There's very few people, but that's good you asked that because I'm posting our video today.
Oh, cool.
I need a title for it.
For ours.
Yeah, you know how important the title and the thumbnail of a YouTube video
Yeah,
is to measure the performance of
You'd
it.
probably be better at this than me. I don't know what's a good clickbait name. Like,
Should we put Simon Rex in it? Should we do like rock bottom actor tells all story,
that could
cocaine
be good.
addiction,
Yeah,
sucks his own dick at barbershop?
all the above. So wait, does it have to be short? Like, what's the trick? You want to keep
should
it
be
short and pull them in?
Pull them in, yeah.
So, yeah, that's.
Rapper performs oral sex on himself in barbershop.
That would make me click on it. But then again, I'm a sicko who wants. It's one of my immature jokes. I still think it's funny. Anytime, I thought I'd outgrow thinking farts are funny or thinking sucking my own dick's funny.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I guess I'll be a grandpa laughing at that shit. My buddy's a comedian. He said, you know why farts are funny? Because even the person doing it doesn't know what it's going to sound like. It's a snowflake. It's different every time.
Yeah.
So you never know what the fuck, even the person doing it doesn't know. But I learned one thing. I think it's very black and white, not unlike your barber community. It's either you think farts are funny or you don't. Have you cut Asian people's hair?
What are you going to jump from those topics,
Yeah.
man?
Yeah,
no,
right
it was
there.
great. I was editing our episode, and every time you said suck my own dick, I was bursting out laughing.
Dude.
Every time, and I left them all in. You say it about 47 times in a 1 minute video.
It's so stupid.
It's great.
It's so stupid.
Dude, when I was watching your videos before I knew who you were, I was like, this guy is hilarious. You were one of my idols. Like,
come on, man.
No, honestly,
That's crazy.
I saw you on Vine and stuff, and I was a fucking idiot back then.
Yeah, you're still an idiot, but go
yeah.
ahead.
And then you see, they say you don't want to meet your idols and stuff.
True.
like that,
I agree with that.
But we're here now, and I see
We're
you,
here.
and I
No,
get
you're the
it.
homie. Yeah.
I get it. You look a little tired.
I am a little tired. I haven't been sleeping too good.
You look way better on video.
Yeah, they're gonna filter me out on this one, right, guys? We have a mutual friend, GB, our boy. Because remember, I forget how I said it, but your name came up, and you mentioned GB. Remember, I was like, if you were
Oh yeah, I saw you guys at Coachella together.
Yeah.
Not at Coachella, at the rave that they throw afterwards.
Wait, this Coachella?
2-3 years ago.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't gone in like 5 years, so it must have been even longer than that. I by the way,
I think your
Coachella
math's wrong
sucks.
there, buddy.
Coachella sucks.
Coachella sucks. You
Yeah.
went this year too, right?
Yeah, this was the first time. I thought I hadn't gone in like 5 years. Maybe it was less.
Did you stay clean and sober like you said you were gonna?
No. But I realized how old I am. I realized how much it's become a corporate Instagram photo shoot everywhere. There's no vibration there anymore. I think once it became 2 weekends, it fell off.
Yeah.
Because it used to be kind of fun and sexy, and it was the thing to do. And it was like you'd look forward to it all year. And this year I actually went because I had a show out there, not at Coachella, but at a side party. And I didn't go to the actual festival, and I had zero FOMO. Like normally I'd feel like, I gotta go.
This year you didn't go
I didn't
at all?
I just was in Coachella for my show and just hung out. And I was like, man, I'm old. All these people look like posers. I was just the grumpy old guy. I didn't know any of the bands that were playing except Tame Impala. Which is the best. I wanted to see them. That was the only band I think I wanted to see this year, was Tame Impala.
Yeah, they were great.
They're
I didn't
amazing.
care about anybody else either.
Okay, so it's not an age thing. It's just become kind of mainstream.
Well, I'm getting up there, bro. I'm catching up.
How old are you now?
29.
Oh, come on, dude. I was 29 for about a year. Let me tell you something. 30's no picnic either.
What do you mean? It's rough?
It just made no sense. Yeah, so Coachella, no fun. Burning Man, fun. I won't get
haven't
too
done
into
Burning
it.
Man.
Okay, I won't get too into it. It's almost like number one rule of Fight Club: don't talk about Fight Club. Like
You talk about Burning Man a lot.
I know I shouldn't.
I feel like
because
every video I see, every other one is about Burning Man.
I'll spare you because I hated everyone talking about it before. I mean, I'm like, shut up, this shit's lame. And then I went. I was like, my mind was fucking blown. I recommend you experience it once, and you got to do the whole week. You can't be a weekend warrior like some people just fly in for 3 days. If you really want to experience it, you got to go for 7 days. No phone service, cut off from the world. Like that in itself is therapy. It's
what
crazy.
should I do when I'm there though? What are
You'll
the
just figure it
things
out.
you want to? What do you want to do when you're at Burning Man?
It's basically
Specifically, that actually brings us into our next segment, Simon's Silly Songs.
Great segue. Hey, Simon's Silly Song of the Week. Can we pull up? I'm going to start this new segment. We're very good. You're on it, man. Yeah.
I just want to go to Burning Man.
Sounds good.
Suck my own dick on a spaceship. Yeah, I came to Burning Man on you.
I was just editing this into the barbershop, so I know it all.
They don't understand why I am the original alien. I came to drop in straight from you.
It's my favorite part right here.
They
Here we go.
said, oh hell no, oh there he go, he a burner.
So stupid. Here we go. Here's the hook.
Burning Man, that Burning Man.
That's what you want to do when you're there.
Yeah, I just want to go
That's
to
it.
Burning Man and suck
We
my
could cut
own
it. I think the audience gets it. So, but yeah, at Burning Man, it's what I didn't understand. So much for not talking about it. Is that it's a city, and within that city, you could do anything you want: jiu-jitsu class, yoga class, a cafe, a skate ramp, jazz club. I thought it was just a rave with art. It's a festival. Nah, it's a city, and within that city, you could do whatever the fuck you want. I did stand-up comedy
Oh yeah,
at a bad joke tent on LSD by myself.
really?
That's the kind of shit you do out there.
What goes on there when Burning Man's not going on?
It's just a
Ghost
it's like
town?
it's
Tumbleweeds blowing around.
Black Rock City. I think it's just like a big park in Nevada. I think it's like sacred ground actually for Native American. But I'm not sure. I don't want to say that incorrectly. But I think it's basically just a national park or something that's just there. And there's just something really crazy about the. It's like an alkaline dust out there, and there's a weird. It's like being on the moon, man. It's some weird shit. The whole experience is so bugged out. It's like you can't explain it. You just got to experience it.
Is it coming up or did it pass already?
It's coming up in last week of August, first week of September. It's like a 1 week window. I told Rudy I told Rudy to go check it out. I don't know if he's a burner. You're either a burner or you're not. And I could see you thriving there. Rudy, I'm afraid he wouldn't be able to handle no phone for a week. And I
Yeah.
told him, I'm like, you can't have your phone for a week. And I saw this look on his face. He's like, well, we'll figure out a way to get the phone. I'm like, no, the whole point is have you ever been off your phone for a week, Rudy? I want you to unplug. You're not going to lose
The
any
only
followers.
time I have was in jail, LA County.
Wait, can't you get phones in jail? Because I was following a couple pages.
Yeah, those guys are smuggling in contraband. They got it somehow. I'm not saying that they specifically shoved it up their assholes,
Right,
but somehow they got in. Maybe a guard they paid off or something like that.
Yeah, I was following a couple Instagram accounts that were, I can't remember the name right now. It's really, really, really.
My friend who's getting out of jail next month, he's been away for 3 years. He would love having his phone out. He had a phone all the time. He would go live on Instagram, and they'd be in the bathrooms and the toilets making the toilet wine. And one time he actually, Pusha T, we met him like a long time ago, and somehow
Pusha T or Pusha T?
Pusha T.
Yeah,
T.
Pusha, yeah.
So they love that whole like criminal drug deal in jail culture, whatever, if there is a culture. But He got him to follow him on Instagram. My friend was in jail.
Oh, dope.
And that was like a huge thing for him that Pusha T followed him on Instagram. So then as he's posting these jail things, Pusha T was liking him and stuff like that.
That's amazing.
So he's like, that's the highlight of his life right now because he's got nothing else going on. But
those are the best kind of Instagram pages, are the real shit.
Yeah,
know?
He's posing in his jail shit. He's flexing like he got like in and out in jail, and he had like the burger, and that was like him showing a fucking gold Rolex or something.
Love it. Wait, toilet wine. We got to go backwards a little bit. Explain that.
It's just like, you know how fruit ferments, it eats itself, and it's poison, alcohol. So that's how you make alcohol. They make it. They call it toilet wine, but there's other ways you could put it in like a garbage bag and you just hide it in places like the toilet. Like, you know, old fashioned, they'd have like just a cell with the bed and a toilet. So you'd have to hide it. I think that's where the term comes from, but I could be completely wrong. I don't know. I feel like we talked a lot about jail on this, but the moral of the story is Pusha T went live, joined his live, and
that made his life.
It made the whole 3 years of his life worth it for getting in jail.
So he became famous within jail, I'm sure.
Within that community. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Okay, so let's talk about some hot girls that are out there. What was that game you said that some of the hot girls were playing? It's like the meme.
Oh, dude, Paranoia. It's called. I found out the name, and I explained it on my podcast, but I did it terrible. I did a terrible job at it.
Let's try again.
So you line up in a circle, and it's kind of like Truth or Dare, but you ask the person a question about somebody in the circle. So if I said, like, who would you want to have sex with the most here? You have to answer that question without that question being heard. It's a secret. You whisper it in the ear. Now you flip a coin. If it's heads, they'll read the question out loud, and then you're fucking embarrassed, basically. But that's only if you make the questions negative. And you could have a positive outcome. Like you could say, like, who has the biggest heart? And then
who has the biggest heart on? Yeah.
Yeah. But then if it flips heads and they say the question out loud, you look like a good person. But of course, when you're playing this game with a bunch of young Hollywood models, they all want to get the juicy, spicy questions. So
damn, that's crazy. And you were we don't need to say any names. You were playing with some of the hot new young Hollywood starlet Instagram babies.
I mean, I've talked about it and they don't give a shit. Madison Beer was one of them. I don't know. She's probably the most known out of them. But
yeah, what does she do? Is she a singer? She's hot. Singer. What does she do?
She's a singer-songwriter.
An actress. I saw her at Catch once.
I think she's mostly just a singer-songwriter, but it's cool. She writes her own music.
She dated Justin Bieber.
Did she?
Or fucked him? I don't know. She was something with him. I thought.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I know she's in that scene.
Yeah. Who are some of the other? So my listeners and viewers could go like look up some. Who are some of the hot young pieces of ass roaming around on Instagram, YouTube? Who are some of them that are just attractive, young, beautiful female women with?
Fuck, man.
There's so many, or as you don't want to say.
No, I mean I kind of don't want to say. No, I'm single. I'm newly single. Like not newly. Fucking cut that out.
Freedom's a beautiful thing. It's I'm always conflicted. Like having a girlfriend is great and being alone is great. I think I've spent about half of my adult life single and half with a girlfriend because I like that balance.
Do you want a girlfriend?
I mean, on certain days of the week. You know what I mean?
You don't have any kids, right?
No, that I know of. No, I don't think so. I can't believe I don't.
Do you want them?
I feel like that would be a part of life. I'd like to experience that. And at this point, at 44 years old, I don't think if I had one now, it wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to miss these golden years. I did it. Like I made it this far.
Yeah.
So I think having a kid would be awesome. It's like, sounds like the best thing and the scariest thing at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I'm a selfish guy and I love my own time. Like it would be the ultimate unselfish act because I know once I have a kid, it's time to, everything's about the kid. I wouldn't, you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to be a piece of shit dad. Like, it's a tricky city, too, to have a relationship, much less kid. This town's fucking crazy, Yeah,
you'd have to move to like Calabasas or something like that.
Which a lot of people do, I guess. But yeah, well, I live on the west side. I moved to Santa Monica, Venice area, which is basically like moving out of Hollywood. Once you get out of the do you know what TMZ stands for?
No.
30-mile zone. That's LA. TMZ.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, man. So once you're out of the TMZ, I think Santa Monica is in the TMZ. It's basically that regalia.
You have been filmed by TMZ. They've run up on you.
Yeah, they ran up on me.
Right?
Yeah, they ran up on me a couple of times. And there's just no way of winning that one. Like it's funny because they'll often run up on me.
It feels pretty cool though, right?
I mean, I guess it depends, Like back when I smoked weed, I remember it would make me really paranoid and uncomfortable when you got a camera in your face. But I remember every time they'd roll up on me, if I'd say something funny, then they'd never use it. And that's only the times when they roll up on you and it's like a weird, awkward thing. And
that's the worst.
They never really show the
gold. Your funny bits out?
Yeah, they never show the gold. It's weird. It got to the point where I even knew like some of the guys, because when I was really going out in Hollywood and I'd just be like that dude
You
out
were
all the
the
time.
guy.
I would be rolling out all the time, and they just got to know me, and I even knew them, and it just became this weird friendship. And it was a trip, man. Like now that I'm gone out of the scene, I'm not really on their radar as much, but I don't even give a fuck. Like I had a good run. I had a good Hollywood run for a minute. I think Jay Leno said the average Hollywood career is 7 years. Some people overnight, some people 20 years. I had a real good run as far as like, but I was chasing it. Like I was the dude who wanted to be at every event. I was the dude that wanted to, just be at every fucking Hollywood thing. And now it's so crazy. Like I just don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
It's the best. And it's not the best if you're trying to make it. It's not the best. Like I remember I told my agent, I was like, yeah, dude, I'm cool with just being like, if you could just get me a job on some TV show on the Sci-Fi Network to play a fucking alien with a couple lines on an episode, that'd be great. And he probably wanted to hear me say, I want to be the lead at a bit, but I just don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
You gonna do acting?
Yeah, I bounce in and out of it. I'm so busy with all this YouTube stuff. It's so time consuming because I edit my own stuff. So I'm like, I know I sound like a bitch, like, I fucking have to make YouTube videos, but I
sound like a bitch.
I do edit like, sometimes it's like 10 hours straight, man. And I'm just losing my mind there. And then I'll go do some collaborations like we're doing right now. You came on my show. Now I'm on yours. And it's great. It's a beautiful thing, but it takes a lot of time. And also, you got to pay agents, they're not just free. So to send me on auditions and stuff, and then I got to give 10% of my money to another guy. I already got my manager, lawyer. Dude, all your fucking money disappears in this business.
But yeah, between
I got to
taxes,
go back to weed.
Yeah. Well, now that game's fucked up too. All my friends that grow
legal, and you can't make any money illegally selling weed. What's going on, guys?
It's like, I forget who said it. Like, is some famous, I can't remember who, not Hemingway. Someone said during the gold rush, if you want to make money, picks and axes. You want to sell pans and pots and picks and axes where you make money. The side shit. Everyone's going to go for the gold. You want to make some money, sell the pans. So that's what a lot of my boys that are in the weed game are doing, is now they're doing CBD oils, or they're doing,
vape pens and stuff.
All that shit. That's the side shit, because the weed game got so ran up.
Oversaturated.
Yeah, dude. It's weird because I don't think it has anything to do with it, but right when I stopped smoking weed is kind of right in the same time it became legal. So it just feels like it's not cool anymore. It feels like weed used to be a thing against the man, and now like the man is making money off of it. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Weed lost its allure to me.
Let's talk about this, because you're really good at both. You were in hilarious movies, like scary movies are some of the funniest movies made to like modern day. Like the funny movies suck now. Comedies, I can't watch any of them.
Yeah.
But those were the last of like actual funny stuff, or I would just be dying laughing the whole time. But you also do social media. You do funny videos on the internet. You're doing podcasting now, which I think is perfect for you, because your brain is bouncing off the walls and you have so much to talk about, so many interesting stories. I think this type of thing, unscripted, you just being you being real, seeing a real Hollywood actor who's starred in movies, but is also a funny, real dude that has real stories to talk about. I think people nowadays, not nowadays, but like right now, like in the past like year, they really want to see people that are just being real. Like I love just watching conversations, watching podcasts with like Joe Rogan and all these guys, because they're just sitting there talking and they're not reading the script. And I feel like all the previous social media content creating was people playing characters and people doing scripted comedy bits. And I think this is the new wave, because everything's being censored. Everybody wants to cancel everybody. The people being real are getting slimmer. That part is getting smaller, and it's just all this other fake bullshit is huge now, but I think it's disappearing a little bit. I think personality is what thrives in the internet content creating world now.
1,000% right. And I feel like the days of, it used to be you'd go on the Tonight Show and have a 5-minute interview that was very fake. And they would just be promoting a movie. Like, let's say Kevin Hart went on the Tonight Show. It'd be a 5-minute interview, and he would just talk about a couple things.
You know the questions they're going to ask you already. You have things approved. And
then they go on another talk show, and it's the exact same 5-minute interview. That shit's done.
That's bullshit.
It's over. Now that you have podcasts and you could really get to know somebody, just like you said, I think it opens it up to it becoming a lot more real. And the audience isn't dumb. Like, they know when something's fake. So you're absolutely right. I think it's wide open right now. This is kind of, I mean, not right now. Obviously, podcasts have been around for a while, but it's kind of like the Wild West for this new Hollywood thing. I was talking to Rudy about this, and I give you guys...
Nobody's starting them either. Nobody's starting podcasts nowadays.
Yeah, nobody.
Fucking.
I think that's so.
I think my mom just started.
Yeah, no,
a 75-year-old woman.
I think they said there's 50,000. Do you guys know? Is it 50,000 or 500,000 podcasts that exist? You know, it's some alarming. No, they don't listen. An alarmingly high amount of podcasts. So when I started mine, I was coming up with names like Simon Says or something. 5 Simon Says would take. I'm like, dude. So yeah, I'm very late to the party, but I already sort of have a built-in, like the relationships that I have, like meeting, we just met recently, thanks to Rudy Mancuso. And when we first met, Rudy's like, you should go on his haircut show.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah, he was like, dude, he's blowing up. And he's like, it's a good look. So I was going to do it even if he didn't tell me that, but Rudy's definitely supporting you. And going backwards a little bit. Whenever you work with Rudy and them, like when I go shoot with them, I just watch my numbers go. Brrr.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's very
like
impressive.
Nobody else. Specifically Rudy and Hannah and those guys.
Yeah.
Anyone, the Shots crew.
Yeah.
Like and we just recently shot. If you guys out there want to check out Jeff and I with Rudy, and it's called Ghetto Avengers.
Ghetto Avengers, yeah. It's a
yeah.
spoof on Infinity War or those movies, Marvel stuff.
You play Chris Evans, who you actually remind me of. Chris is an old friend of mine, and you actually have a similar thing. He's the East Coast. I think he's from Boston.
Okay.
But yeah,
Thank you, man.
The
That's
Northeast
a big compliment.
vibe. Yeah, he's the man. And yeah, it's a trip because he and I used to like party back in the day. You know, we were
now
like
you're partying
Hollywood.
with me, the new one, the new Chris Evans.
So you played Chris Evans, and as Captain America. What were you, Captain America? Is that what you were?
Yeah, Captain Asshole.
You were a natural, though. I remember watching you, and I didn't know you could act. I was like, oh, he's good. You either got it or you don't. I was talking about this with some of the other guests I had. I don't think you could learn. I mean, you could go to acting class, or you could go to like comedy class. I've been to those. And the one thing I learned is you see the people that stand out because it's a thing that an essence that you have that's natural that I don't think it's learned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a star quality.
Yeah, I heard your story about how you got into it, and it's great, but I'm sure, your listeners already know. Dude, I'm so happy for you that you're doing this.
Oh,
it's going to fucking crush it.
Yeah, I'm happy just to do it. You know what it is it gives me, it just gives me something to do, because that's the whole Dirt Nasty thing was actually born out of how much downtime you have as a working actor. Like when I was working all the time, I still had a lot of time on my hands.
Yeah.
So I started doing Dirt Nasty with Mickey Avalon and my other friends, and we were just fucking around on our spare time. And I feel like the shit that you do fucking around on your spare time is actually the best shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like people seem to respond to my Vines and my Instagram and Dirt Nasty. All the things that I was just doing without the Hollywood infrastructure were the best things.
Yeah, like back to you asked me if I want to do real acting, and real acting is kind of boring unless you're like on a really high level and you're the leading man and you're getting treated like a leading actor, and they're really like, you have a great life. Like I'm sure The Rock fucking life is action packed and great, but real acting, like when you do a TV show or something like that, you're doing the same shot hundreds of times, and it's so boring, and you're waiting in hair and makeup, you're waiting for them to set up the shot. It's just so boring. Now the way we shoot, like the barbershop thing, you were in for 30 minutes, we shot a whole episode, and it'll probably get like 1 million views, and it's like so much more fun, and I get kind of the instant gratification that I'm kind of addicted to. I'm a little ashamed of that I need to shoot something and have it come out days later. It's terrifying thinking like I'm going to work on something for a month and nobody's going to see it for a year.
Not only that, you have no control. So when you're working on some big movie or some like TV show, not only are you just sort of a pawn, like wear this, stand here, say this, say it like this, and you have no say in the edit, and you better just hope it comes out okay. You just feel so helpless. And then that's why I love doing shit with you guys, because we get to have input. Even when I was working with like Hannah on her YouTube video, she'd like, come by the edit. And I'd come in and sit and be like, how about this? Try this. Never, ever would they ever want an actor to come sit in the edit room and have notes. They're like, stay the fuck out of it. You don't know what you're talking about. So you're absolutely right. And the instant gratification thing, I'm guilty of it too. It's just a human nature thing. You want to be validated for the art that you put out there. And it's interesting because I remember when I hit like 1 million followers, I learned a lesson. When I hit 1 million followers on Vine, it was like kind of like that was the goal. Like, oh, it's blowing up. I'm going to hit 1 million. And then you hit 1 million, and they're like, now
what,
what?
2 million.
2 million? Now 3, where does it end? Like, then you got 10 million and you want 20. I realize you'll never be happy. It's always going to be more.
Yeah.
But the part that is gratifying is when you put something up and you just see people laughing and having a good time. You're like, I did my job. I put smiles on faces immediately.
Yeah.
That's the shit, dude.
Oh, it feels good.
Yo.
And it's amazing how one negative comment can cancel out 100 positive ones.
I was just talking about this with Ariel.
Do we sound like little bitches
No,
complaining?
it's
oh
okay.
My
We're not
God, we
complaining.
have to make videos and people sometimes don't like them.
No, it's okay because you're going to put yourself out there. You're going to get some rejection, but it's the same thing when I go do a Dirt Nasty show. Like there could be 300 people having a blast and there's one dude flipping me off, booing me. That's the only dude I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And I can't help it. And I'm just like, not everybody else there's going to be that dude every time.
Yeah.
Especially online. Somebody who's going to take the time to write something is just a hater. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever put thumbs down on a video on anyone's shit? Like I've never been the dude to go put a thumbs down on YouTube.
No, and
like,
I'm scared that they track me down and get my account and like, oh, Jeff Wittek's a hater.
you know what I mean? Like
I can never have that.
even if they didn't find out, it just feels like, I don't know. I'm just not
I would
that
never.
dude to be a hater. Like I just wouldn't say anything at all. So
But sometimes like I'll get pissed off if I clicked on this video because of a clickbait title. Like I watch like a lot of MMA shit and these people will just rip a bunch of clips and that's their content that they make money on. It's a business, whatever.
Right.
But they'll put like McGregor fucking disses Khabib and I'm like, oh shit, let's see what happened. And it's like a 1 second thing that's not even real.
got ya.
I'm like, fucking dislike
got
this
you.
shit. But then I undo it because I'm like, I don't want to look like a hater.
which fighters do you like? I'm an MMA fan. I'm not huge. I tried jiu-jitsu for a while. I realized I'm not a fighter and I stopped. You do boxing. You like MMA. Who you like?
I mean, I'm not like a huge fan like that, but I like a lot of the lightweight division. I like guys like my size.
You could relate to it.
I could relate to it. I'm like, fuck, if I was in there, this guy would be kicking the shit out of me right now. I need to get like this guy. So I'll watch. Like I got into it because of McGregor. So bitch. Like I'm just fucking, of course, the number one guy. But there's that guy, Justin Gaethje. Have you seen him?
Yeah, wait.
He's
I'm trying to
cool,
place
bro.
his face.
He's just like,
no-
he knocks people out, but you can't knock him out. Like you just hit him with solid
Justin
shots
Gaethje,
and he
yes.
eats them and he just walks people down and he just keeps busting them up.
Dude, it's crazy because those guys, that's the craziest shit. Like, we're such little bitches. Those motherfuckers.
I'm complaining about dislikes on a video and mean comments. These guys are getting their faces punched in.
Dude, but you know what's funny is I've hung out with I've got to meet a lot of those guys over the years, and like Nate and Nick, yeah, take them out. No, Nate and Nick Diaz, friends with Crone Gracie, knows those guys. They'll like come to a Dirt Nasty show up in Sacramento and be on the side of the stage laughing. They're like, man, how do you get up there and do that shit? That's crazy. I'm like, what?
You get in front of more people and
They're like-
fight for your life.
They can't understand. They're like, you're nuts for getting out there. And like, you guys are out of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
I could never.
They hate talking though. Those two guys specifically, like even they'll win a fight and you think they're gonna have some huge speech about who they want to thank and their team and stuff, and they're just like, man, fuck this guy's a bitch. I told him I was gonna fuck him up, and then he walks away. Oh yeah, whatever, Joe Rogan. I'll see you.
How entertaining is that shit though?
Oh,
I
it's the
fucking
best.
love the Diaz brothers. Like. You need those guys.
Yeah.
You need those guys. You can't just have your GSP kind of cookie cutter, politically correct. You need the bad boys that it's got good cop, bad cop. You have to have the bad guy. It's WWF, but real. And that shit, I just recently went to see Crone Gracie fight in his first UFC debut. He won, and it was in Arizona. And it was the second time I've ever been to a UFC fight. And I got to tell you, it's not for me. The crowd is very drunk. Testosterone. It's 99 out of 100 people are drunk dudes that want to fight.
Yeah.
It's fucked up, dude. Like,
What
it's
are we
just
gonna roll around on the floor in a bathroom and urinal piss?
you know what I mean?
Like, what the fuck are you doing,
It's
man?
not my vibe. But
I'd much rather watch it at home on a big screen TV,
on your couch, chilling,
smoking some weed, calm
you
the
go.
nerves.
you know. And a
Yeah,
lot of
I'm
these
clean and
guys,
sober though.
are you?
No, I smoke a little.
Okay,
weed.
sorry. Weed doesn't count anymore. A lot of these guys smoke weed too. My buddy, shout out to Matt, has a thing called High Rollers, which is a jiu-jitsu tournament where the winner wins a pound of weed. I think it's up to 5 pounds now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and Eddie Bravo's like a referee, and they got all these big fighters. They come in and they literally will sit on the mat and smoke a joint together and then fight each other. But they're smoking a joint together. Even a couple of times it started getting really like cantankerous. I just learned that word. And they started fighting. And the ref breaks it up and hands them a joint, and they both smoke a joint and go back to fighting. It was the dopest shit ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, High Rollers. I forget the Instagram, but you guys got to check it out. I think it's with a Z at the end, just for a little urban flair. But yeah, my boy started high rollers, and it's fucking kind of blowing up right now. What a good idea, right?
That's great.
It's amazing. It's just jujitsu. It's not MMA.
Okay.
It's just jujitsu. You do any training?
I just do boxing stuff. Like I want to learn everything else, but it's tough to get past that, like rolling around on the floor. Like I don't like being touched, and I don't know. I'm entertained by strikers. I don't really look at like grapplers video. Like I won't go on Fight Pass and look up a grappler.
Right. Yeah, I tried it. I did jujitsu for about a year, starting to kind of learn it. And I realized I'm just not, sometimes in life, you got to learn what you're not to find out. You got to learn who you're not to find out who you are. Just like I just recently went hunting. I went on a hunting trip with these gnarly hunters. And I'm out there and I'm having these weird moments where I'm like.
Well, you took mushrooms, right?
Yeah, I did mushrooms too.
Were they on mushrooms? Or?
No, I just did it by myself.
Did you tell them?
I told them, yeah. Well, here's what happened. Let me just kind of tell the story. So I went on a hunting trip. I've done it before a couple of times in my life. I eat meat, so I figured I should connect to the process of hunting to see what it's like, right?
Absolutely.
Just so I'm not a little bitch just ordering my little fucking steak from a restaurant, whatever. So I go on this hunting trip, and I have a gun, and all my friends have bow and arrows. And which to me was way more cool, the bow and arrow, a little more like hunter-gatherer vibe. And the gun is just using modern technology. Even though bow and arrow's technology, there's something about it that's more badass. Like you're just loading.
Requires more skill.
Yeah, a lot more skill. And a gun, I'm not even a gun dude. And my first shot, I fucking killed a pig with the first shot. Got a big one.
Too easy.
It was too easy. I felt like I was cheating. It was
shooting
like
fish in a barrel.
It was shooting fish in a barrel. So then the rest of the trip, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to roll around with you guys with the bow and arrows. I'm going to learn this for next time, and I'll be lookout on the binoculars. Mm-hmm. So I was out with my friends, Chris Ryan, Kyle Tierman, my friend Justin, a couple other buddies, and we all basically...
And you're seeing all types of shit now. There's people shooting back at them when you look out on mushrooms with the binoculars.
Well, I basically just did a little bit of liquid mushrooms. You heard me right. Liquid mushrooms are a thing.
I wasn't even going to ask.
They're liquid mushrooms and a little thing, so there's no stomach queasiness. And I think it's important. I think it's important once every few months to do a little psychedelic reset in the right environment. So I was like, you know what? Let me try this out here in beautiful Hawaii and see what it feels like to do the most primal fucking human thing ever. Like get the food, the meat on mushrooms, which I found out later actually some stuff like that has been used to help hunters tune into Mother Nature more. Cause you kind of get dialed into your surroundings and so I was basically lookout and dude, my boy just starts nailing them. And I'd see like he'd nail one and the two little piglets would run off and I felt bad. I'm like, oh my God, we just killed the parent.
And what do you do then? Shoot at the little piglets?
No, that became an issue. We didn't want to kill little ones. Yeah. I know that sounds crazy. Like that's where you draw the line, but there's no meat. It's morally a little more fucked up. You want the big one. Yeah. So anyway, my boy nailed a couple and I'm tripping, dude. I'm tripping. And we're rolling up and they're fucking bleeding and guts are spilling out. And you got to like put your hand on the eyeball to see if they're dead. That's how you can see if they don't flinch. Okay. Touch the open eyeball. If they don't flinch, they're dead. It was like fucking gnarly, dude. So yeah, I did that. Yeah.
Did the boars look a little like French bulldogs?
Yeah, they did.
Man, I don't know if I could do it.
I know,
man.
Dude. Do you eat meat?
Yeah, of course. I would
up.
kill a chicken, like a turkey, fish. I fucking go fishing all the time and then kill the fish after and fillet them. That's always cool seeing them, those guys. But yeah, man, I don't know. I just got a little Frenchie. I didn't even buy the guy.
Nerf.
Nerf. Yeah.
Who's got his own Instagram? What is it for people listening? Or
Nervous Nerf.
Nervous Rex.
That's funny. That's such a coincidence, huh? That you guys both have the same nickname. He's been Nervous Nerf. It's just like Nerf sounds nervous, but I didn't name him, so I just gave him that name after.
It's a good name for a dog.
Yeah.
Oh man, fuck! I was just gonna say something. My ADD is so bad. Oh yeah. So there's actually this thing I heard about that's sort of a scale of guilt, like killing a fish, since it looks like a reptile and the face shows no emotion.
Yeah.
The face is basically always, whether it's dead or alive, it's kind of a frozen fish face.
Yeah.
But if there's a cute furry animal that shows pain, you feel worse killing that than a fish. Or like a reptile doesn't show it, their eyes are always wide, they're scaly. You don't feel as bad as a cute, cuddly thing. So that's what's interesting is the guilt attached to the animal by it showing emotion. Like even a squirrel is cute and little. If you run over a squirrel, you'd feel bad, right? Yeah. But you wouldn't feel as bad about killing like a fucking running over a lizard. It's interesting.
Yeah.
He's still killing a living sentient being. It's just some look cuter than others, and if they're furry, they're cuter. If they're
Like
more
the
human, the
scorpions.
face.
I had the scorpions at my house.
Why do
You
you
wanted
do
to
that?
smash them up.
do you
You're
like
like, let me smash these things up. And I was like, no, dude, you can't smash them up.
Tell me about scorpions.
No, I just got them for a bit. I was doing a barbershop episode, and I like doing like podcast style stuff, but for the barbershop, like I'll go out and I'll get props. I'll write some jokes or questions with like written responses already. And I had these scorpions because the guy, Brother Nature, you know, the guy that talks to the deer.
There's a guy named
He's
Brother
like-
Nature.
He's from the hood, and he like goes out in his backyard and he feeds these deer and he talks to them. He's like, "Yo, Canella," he gives them names, and he put
fucking
he
amazing.
put a gold chain on one of the deer, thinking he
Come
would
on,
take a picture. The
dude.
deer ran off with his chain.
That's really fucking funny. I got a character called Brother Earth, which is my hippie character, Brother
Oh
Nature.
yeah, Brother Nature.
Brother Nature, that's great.
But he's
So I
a
wanna
Puerto
see
Rican
him.
guy from New York, and he's like, his parents moved him to Pennsylvania when he was like 16, so he had no choice. He had to make new friends. He made friends with a deer, started making videos, and they went viral on Twitter, and now he's got a career
I feel
out
like
of
I've
it.
seen it. I think I've seen it. Yeah, see, that's all you need, man. Is one little pop-off angle like that, like one right thing that connects with people, and
Yeah.
you could be off to the races. You know what I mean?
So I had him, he reached out to me, he said he liked the barbershop show, and he was like, I want to come on. So I usually do all the episodes with my friends, like starting out, getting the flow of, I was never a talk show host. I was a real barber, but I'm not anymore. I barely remember how to cut hair, as you could tell from your
Yeah, I know you
haircut.
fucked my shit up.
I needed to do something with this guy, so I like to plan a few bits. With you, I didn't plan anything because I knew you're going to be very entertaining, and I'm going to have enough footage already. So I got these scorpions that I'd bring them out and I'd put them on my hands in the middle of the haircut. And I said that you have to talk them out because you can communicate with animals. It's all just for laughs. So I had these scorpions on my hands while I was cutting his hair, and he had to talk me out of it. But I've worked with scorpions when I did a movie before, and I noticed that they're not really. People are kind of racist against scorpions.
Right.
You know, like they think they're going to get stung. But the only way you'll get stung by a scorpion is if you really, really antagonize it and you're poking at it and like it thinks it's in danger. So if you just put your hands out, they think they're like walking on rocks or on some sort of surface that's not dangerous. So I was able to bring them out and make myself look like a maniac, but I actually don't want to be stung by scorpions, you know? It was just for a bit.
Yeah.
It was a quick bit. I don't know. I do random stuff in the show. So
No, that's smart. That's smart. I have a weird thing with certain, like, I feel like in the animal kingdom, you could like look at, like, let's say a panther was like, you're in the jungle and you see a panther. I feel like you could look at the panther and kind of reason with it. Like, look, dude, I'm cool. And it might be like, yeah, you're cool. I'm going to walk away now. You can't reason with a scorpion or a spider or certain lizards.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you? Like, I feel like I could look at like certain animals and be like, dude, I'm going to walk away right now. But not reptiles.
You think a panther would listen to you say
Black panther or striped leopard panther would definitely be open
That's
to
a little
reasoning.
racist,
Well,
bro,
no,
that
I
you
didn't mean
think
it
that-
in a political manner. I just mean that some panthers, being in the feline cat family,
You think
I
it'd be
feel like
easier
I
to
could
walk away
relate to-
from a black panther than a
or
striped
a black
panther?
bear.
Okay, those would be the ones that would fuck.
I'm fucking scared of nature, bro. Like, it's a scary shit. Like, when you're out there hunting, especially when I did a little mushrooms and like I was out there in nature, like, dude, it was fucking. I feel like we're so disconnected because we basically live in a human zoo. Like, look around here, we're just in we're in a human zoo.
Great view, bro. I love
view.
this
Yeah,
place.
this
This
is
is like the
amazing.
nicest This is nicer than Joe Rogan's, and Joe Rogan is the #1 podcast. So I feel like you're on your way up there.
And better, more viewers, and overall better guests. Now, right down there is. Can you point us out where the jail is?
Oh shit! Yeah, there.
You went to
yeah.
Twin Towers, right?
I was at the Twin Towers. Yeah,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
they are. You could see them from here.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. There's a lot of butt fucking going on.
You
in
can
there.
see everything from here, man. There's a lot of construction too. I was pulling my car up. I couldn't get on this road. I almost
right
fucking.
there.
I was losing my mind. Road rage, bro.
You get
I
road rage
almost-
a lot. You drove here, but you live right up the street. You could have
Yeah.
Ubered or walked. You
Dude,
drove.
I almost left my car there and fucking bought a new one
Why?
afterwards.
What kind of car do you drive?
I just have a Tahoe, but it was just traffic was so frustrating, and I don't want to come in here negative. You know,
Right,
I
right.
don't want to come in here like, God damn it,
Yeah.
all this traffic. He's got to get his fucking podcast here, but I see it now.
Yeah,
And this is great.
Yeah, no, we got a great staff. We got the boys out there. Eric's holding it down. We got
They
a
don't
good
listen
crew.
to you; they hate you.
No, they don't. It's on mute right now, but they tolerate me. You seem like a Tahoe guy, and I mean that as a compliment. I can see you entering and exiting a Tahoe with a flair of confidence.
Yeah, it looks like an Uber.
Yeah. I have a Prius, so every time I pull up anywhere, people just start opening my door.
Oh, so
eventually I'm just going to take off with
it's
them.
It's good for kidnappings.
I should just put hidden. Remember that show? I don't know if you're old enough to remember Taxi Cab Confessions. It was an HBO show. I want to do Uber Confessions, basically the same show.
Okay.
Because I roll a Prius and I just want to put hidden cameras in the rig because every time I stop anywhere,
you could bring this guy. You could put him in the fucking trunk and have him with the sound, make sure everything's good.
You know what I'm saying? How dope would that be, though? And because people always get in my car. They literally open the door and just start to get in. It's because I have a gray Prius, which is always a very funny LA cliche. Because anytime
where are you hanging out at that people are just
any stoplight. Anytime I pull up anywhere, people just start to come in my car. It's
That's
fucking
funny,
crazy.
man.
I know, and it's because I have a great Prius.
Ride with it. Let them.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna just eventually just stop fighting it and just let them get in and just film that shit. But it's funny because I'm so LA that anytime I come out, this is even more LA. When I come out of yoga, I'll fucking see 6 gray Prius, and I'm like, I'm such a cliche right now. I'm that dude, but I'd rather be that dude than the guy getting in his Porsche on coke.
Okay, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I become like a cliche, but the more likable cliche, I guess. I don't know, because LA is so fucking douchey and fucking, I don't know.
You do hot yoga, right?
Yeah, I do.
You ever do the regular yoga?
Sure.
It's no point now.
I mean, no, I do it. I just prefer just to get that hot yoga shit going on because it's fucking way harder. So I think, yeah, you do like, because when you get in your 40s, you don't need to lift weights as much. You're not trying to get buff. You just want to keep it sexy. And
I'm already at that. I'm already
Really?
just trying to maintain. I just work fitness into my life in fun ways. Like I go hiking every morning. I have like a little crew with 2 of my buddies, and we meet up at my place 9 a.m. every day, and we go for a hike. We do running, and it's great. We run the whole thing now, and it's like just, I don't know, we love it.
Yeah, exercise is really important. It's like if you don't move the body around, all that energy gets kind of stagnant, and you need to move that shit out and shake it out, whether it's even just like a walk in the morning. I'm a big believer in that, because I notice if I don't do any exercise for like 2 or 3 days, I feel depressed. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
You get that way?
Yeah.
I think most people...
Missing one day is enough for me to feel like I'm a loser.
As long as you get a sweat going, however you do it.
Yeah.
You play basketball?
Yeah, I play basketball.
I play ball
tennis.
too. Yeah, tennis is good.
Tennis is fun if you got a good crew.
Golf?
No.
Yeah, golf takes a lot of patience, and it's you versus you, and I started to do it for a while, and then I started to get kind of good, and then it sucked.
I just don't have any friends that would show me golf. Like, I don't have a friend that would be like, hey, let's go golfing today. Rudy actually got me into tennis. Tennis is great. Rudy's really good.
Rudy's a very athletic little...
Rudy's good at such random shit, man. He's pretty good at everything. But
it's crazy, man. He's so... it's like, I told him, I had him on the podcast. I'm like, can you just pick one thing to be good at? Because you just do everything, and it's like, fuck, man. Music, acting, writing, directing, tennis. Even played basketball with me, and he's not even a basketball player. He was like hitting shots. I'm like, how the fuck does this guy do it?
It's so cool to see him grow and progress as like a director, because now, being a director is pretty much you're just being a boss. Like, you're a creative boss, but you got to keep things running and run smooth and fast, and he is just delegating responsibility now. And it's just seeing this guy who would fuck around, make stupid videos on a phone. Now he's running a whole crew of 30 people. And it's like, this was 2 years ago that he was like filming at the pool in 1600 Vine. And we're just like, oh, like maybe one day Rudy's going to be doing this shit. And now to see him actually doing it, and only 2 years later, it's really cool.
He's inspiring. He is inspiring. He's very driven. I don't think I have that in me. It's borderline psychopathic. Like, in order for you, and I mean that in the best way, Rudy, in order for you to be that successful, you have to be cutthroat, crazy, fucking driven. Like, I'm going to take over the world. And I think that Rudy has that in him, because he even said to me, he's like, I'm going to take over. And I'm like, I believe you. I believe that you could, because of how driven you are. Me, I'm kind of lazy. Like, even with this podcast, I work with this company. They do a lot of the heavy lifting for me. I just show up and bring people like you in and talk. But if I had to edit, put it up, do all the get the advertising, I probably wouldn't do it. I probably wouldn't be on it right now. So
yeah, I was the same way as you. I was exactly the same. Like, I didn't want to try too hard and look like I'm trying too hard to do these videos or get famous. But now, as I'm doing it, I'm learning that, like, I'm growing every time with every video. I'm getting better, and I'm getting better at editing, and I'm understanding from editing and watching myself, this is what I should do differently. And if it wasn't for like Rudy showing me, like, you got to be consistent and put out videos, at least stick to what you're going to do. You don't have to do every day. You could do every week, but stick to it if you're going to do every week. So I've progressed a lot, and it's a lot of, I owe it all to Rudy and these guys for showing me that, like, you need to stick with it. But
Yeah, consistency. That's a big thing, especially for YouTube. I'm not a big YouTube guy,
Yeah.
but I've learned that from my YouTube friends like Jesse Wellen. I got some friends who are big YouTubers. They're like, dude, you got to keep going. Once
Yeah.
you stop, you'll lose them.
And then when you like look back at what you do, and like I'll go out sometimes, and people I would never expect are watching my stuff, and like celebrities and shit. Like you never expect it. Like, how the fuck you're watching my shit? I thought I'm making it for like 15-year-old kids that are bored after school or something. But
That's pretty dope, though. Once you start getting people that that's one thing I learned from Vine when I was doing it. People were coming up that I never expected. They're like, that Vine shit is I always tell this story. Like Leonardo DiCaprio came up to me at this party and was like, I told this story a million times, but it's fucking hilarious.
no, this sounds great. I haven't heard it.
I was at the Super Bowl party recently on the Super Bowl, and it was a Hollywood party, and I was invited to, and Leo walks in the room, and everyone turns to look at Leo because it's Leonardo DiCaprio, and he's got his hoodie on, and he likes to be low key. And I see him. I kind of know him over the years, and I see him look at me across the room, and he beelines it over to me. He takes his hood off. He's like, "Dude, your Instagram is the best shit ever, Tweaker Rodrigo." And I go, I thought he was fucking with me. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, I swear I look at your shit every day. I'm always looking for your new shit. And he like walked off and gave me respect and left. And then all of a sudden the whole party was like, what was he saying to you? Because then now
Yeah.
everyone wanted to know why he was talking to me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, Leonardo DiCaprio's looking at my fucking
That's fucking
Instagram.
nuts,
Like, what's
man.
going on? And he's like the biggest movie star in the fucking
And you
world.
look at his Instagram, he's like posts pictures of whales and stuff. He doesn't do anything that is like remotely comedy or even
No,
himself. He's
that's-
not even on his own Instagram, but he's
It's a
watching
fake
your
account.
stuff.
I think he
Yeah.
has a account that that he looks at shit on, like
Yeah.
another one, because he ain't looking at it on his dolphin set. You know, I think he's a dolphin. He might be like half dolphin. I wouldn't be surprised if Leonardo DiCaprio butt fuck dolphin in this top hole, because I guess that's not the butt.
Well, it'd have to be his parents would have created him from having sex with a dolphin.
That's right. But he's kind of an alien. Like, I remember once, here's a funny Hollywood tale. I was out years ago, back when I was like really on the scene, and Leo and his boys were about to get in a fight, and his boy Ethan, this big homie of his that's an actor, he's like, you want to get in an actor fight? I was like, yeah, what are we
Those
doing?
are great because you're not going to get stabbed or anything, you know? Like, what's the worst that's going to
Don't mess
happen?
up my hair. You know, watch it. Don't hit the face. Don't hit the face. I got a good George Clooney story. I used to work on the Warner Brothers lot, and I remember George Clooney was always, I'll be honest, I don't want to talk shit and hate, but he was such a little bitch about calling fouls. Like, even if you'd swat him, foul, and you're like, dude, I didn't even touch you. You just got fucking woofed. And I remember one time he got in a fight with a crew member from ER. He was on ER at the time. And the crew member and him start scrapping on the ground. The dude gets George Clooney in a headlock, and I just see George Clooney's face right here, and he's just about to mop him, and everyone had to be like, no, the $1 million face. Don't hit the $1 million face. And he was just going to light him up. And it was like the moment of truth. Like, he could have done it, and he didn't. And it was like a crew member, like a strong dude.
Okay.
I got so many good little Hollywood stories.
Hollywood fist fights. That's great, man. I
Yeah.
think that's the title of this podcast.
Could be. I've only been in one fight in the last 10 years, and I had to defend myself. How many fights you been in? Any jail fights, or were you good?
Oh, I lost count, bro.
Yeah. Oh, too many that you lost or won, or you don't care?
I mean, no, I've lost fights before. I've got jumped bad. My nose is broken here. You can see it's a little crooked. Can you
Right.
tell?
Not really, but no. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had my nose broken when I was like 16. I was just messing around with the wrong
These are
girl.
Staten Island
there's
things.
Staten Island fucking juiced up guys. You know, they come over and sucker punch you. And then that's it. You just deal with it. I didn't get knocked out, but I did get my nose broken. I knew when to get out of it. I'm really fast. And like you said, like talking about lifting to get buff. Like, I just want to be quick and agile. Like, a lot of times fights are just like, who's going to have better footwork, stay off the ground, and fucking get their punches in and get out. You know, you want to get out of there before security, the bouncer grabs you, and he's got you all yoked up. These guys are trained assassins. You want to stay away from them. Go after the actor who is, you guys are talking to the same girl or something. Get that guy.
Yep.
Sucker punch him, fucking run out of there, and then go start a Twitter beef. That's what you guys should do.
Yeah, that's great advice for a career move. You know who Jorge Masvidal is? The fighter.
Oh, yeah, he got in the fight after.
Yeah, he's first of all, the guy's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
The guy's such a beast, and he just talks the best shit ever. And he was talking on an interview once, and he's like, where I'm from in Miami, you need to have a good sucker punch and a 50-yard dash. Because
Yeah.
if you don't, you'll get shot.
Oh, that's good.
It was amazing. He was like, and they're like, and the like MMA interviewers were saying, what do you mean a sucker punch? That doesn't seem very, he's like, where I'm from, you'll get murdered.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you have to sucker punch and dip.
First punch is the best. You hit somebody first, you're probably going to win. You got 50% odds are better. I don't know these statistics. I'm making them up as
Yeah.
I go. But yeah, Miami, you get chased down with a gun. Any type of fight you get in, everybody has a gun on them. Everybody in Florida has a gun.
Miami's a whole nother kind of, Florida in itself is a whole nother kind of crazy. See, I'm from Cal. It's funny because all my Miami boys are like, man, that LA shit's crazy. I'm like, no, that Florida shit's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Florida. It seems like
I've had guns pulled on me in Florida multiple times, and I haven't had them pulled on me anywhere else, you know? Only in Florida.
Yeah.
And I only lived there for 2 years. That's like...
Miami?
Yeah.
How was
like,
Miami?
That's
Miami
like
was fun, huh?
10% of my life.
Miami's too much fun. It's my buddy said it perfectly. He lived in New York and he moved down there for 7 years and he moved back to New York. I'm like, what?
Too much fun. You get caught up. You forget that you have to work and have like priorities in life and like responsibilities. When you're in Miami, you could just be like on vacation. I lived there. I moved down there. I ended up staying there for 2 years and it was great. I remember waking up and walking outside and just being like, holy shit. This is it. These are the best years of my life.
Dude, 1,000%, bro. Miami's too good. My buddy said it perfect. He lived there 7 years. He moved out of there. I go, why are you leaving? He said, because I'm going to die of 3 things. Liver failure, cancer, or AIDS. Because all I do is go to the beach, fucking drink. Like, I'm going to die out here. So he had to leave because he's like, it's too much fun.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
And I was cutting everybody's hair. And once you get into that world, you meet every promoter. And now you're getting pulled out to some party every night. And it's
going
just
to
like,
live.
A lot of bad influences. Good people, but like, it's just not a real life.
Yeah,
over here, it's a good mixture of both.
I feel like out here, you can choose your battles more wisely. Out there, you're just in it. You walk outside, you're fucking in it. It's just right there.
Yeah.
Here, you can kind of, I'm going to go disappear in the valley and go home or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like,
I stay home all the time now. I go out maybe like after I post a video, I'll be on like a little high from that. And then I'll go out for the weekend. But then it's right back to work doing another one.
What does Jeff drink on a perfect evening? What's your favorite cocktail?
Oh, I don't drink alcohol.
Oh, really?
I gave it up. Yeah, I gave it up about
How
6 months ago.
Oh, good for you. What was it?
I would love tequila or whiskey. 1942 is the best, man. Yeah.
Remember when you thought Patron? I remember back in the day, like Patron was good, and now you're like, how the fuck did I like that?
Oh yeah,
garbage?
that's college fucking frat boy trash. To get it out of here.
Isn't
Disgusting.
that the worst? 1942 is like you don't even need a chaser.
Yeah, or Casamigos.
Casamigos
cool
is good. Mm-hmm. Speaking of George Clooney, that's his company.
Oh yeah. He started it by accident. Imagine starting a $1 billion company by accident.
That guy could do no wrong, but I did
Maybe
see
the
him almost get his
podcast
ass.
is
Hey,
gonna do it.
I'll go with the tequila sponsor. Good for you for not drinking for 6 months. I can see your healthy glow is because of not drinking. You're not hungover. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've never been much of a drinker, but when I do, it fucks me up the next day.
Yeah, I have friends that are like, it's you could tell it's like messing with them. Like, you know, they're at about the same age as me. I quit once the hangover started getting bad because now it's rolling over into my work. And I was just like your confidence levels. Why would you spike your confidence at night to be the life of a party for 4 fucking assholes in a bar?
Yeah.
When you're going to go report podcasts for billions of people, like this one's going to be heard by billions of people.
Yeah, billions.
This is when you need to have your brain working and be confident, not hungover.
1,000%. Maybe you could get away with that when you're in college in your early 20s, but as you start to
because those hangovers, you just feel a little wacky and you want to get extra crazy. Maybe post a fucking video about sucking your own dick.
Maybe.
You know? You're high on that next day drunkenness.
Dude, and there's actually, I remember, I don't think I could do as much anymore, but there was a time when I could tap into, there's like a hangover, sleep deprivation, magic zone you could kind of get into where maybe you don't look amazing, but everything you're saying is fucking hilarious. And you're kind of on this like...
You're saying that's sober, you get the sleep deprivation.
Well, no, the next day you're kind of like, you still feel a little tequila in you and you're like, haven't slept good. And you're just kind of like, that's when I'd book every audition. Like if I'm going to go get my 8 hours sleep and overstudy and go in and da-da-da. But then I don't book it. But then when I go in, like I went out the night before, I slept 3 hours. I go in there, I'm just don't give a fuck. Book it every time.
Yeah.
It's because you don't give a fuck. That give a fuck juice is powerful.
Yeah, you got to not give a fuck. It works with everything. You don't give a fuck about a girl, she's going to like you more.
I've talked about this before on the podcast. There's actually a book called Trying Not to Try, and it's about the science of not trying, which is like, doesn't make sense. But if you think about it, like I use Steph Curry as an example. He did enough work over the years to get his jump shot down that now he could go out there and play and he don't even have to think. He's just in the zone. He's not thinking. He's not like, I got to hit. He's just money. So you could, if you do the homework, you can earn getting in the zone. Like boxers that are just so good, they're just there. They just could tap into that shit.
Those
and when
punches,
it's lights, camera, action.
They know the next one's already come. As they're throwing one, they got the next 2 lined up.
Yep. Yeah, I tried boxing. It's humbling. Whew.
Yeah. Have you sparred like got hit back?
No, I did one round where I fought amateur boxer, a pro-am, I guess,
shit.
or whatever. But the whole thing was he doesn't get to hit me. I'm just trying to hit him. I didn't land one punch. After 1 3-minute round, I was on the ground as if I got punched.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to have a heart attack.
Just
And that's
because of cardio,
from me
right?
Missing and like.
And you're an in shape guy, man. It's just a different type of cardio, learning how to pace yourself. It's like you go for a run, like learning how to run for distance. It's like that, but in the ring, it's just completely different. I'm not even saying I'm talking like I'm experienced and shit. I'll fucking get my ass kicked in a boxing match.
See, that's humble, and I appreciate the humble attitude. Let's do this right now, and our listeners listening, let's take one deep breath together, just so we can reset the regalia, and everyone out there can, and if you're listening in your car, if wherever, just take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. You ready? It's okay to let out a little, you know.
Okay, yeah, I didn't get to do that.
Let's try
I was
again.
a little
One more, guys.
insecure with the yoga stuff.
No, it's okay. You do a few of those and you have money, dude. You ever like when you're ripping or having sex and you just realize you're not breathing right, and then you kind of go, like, let me breathe better, and you can tap into that magic rigatoni. There's actually sex called tantric sex, which is like yoga sex. I want to learn that shit.
Yeah. Can I go take a piss quick? Maybe you want to do like an ad break or something?
You know what? We actually just got the sign. I think that's the cue. We're finished, baby. We did an hour.
You don't
we
have
did an hour.
You don't have ads?
No. They put them in after and before.
Oh,
I don't
dope.
do the ads.
That's great, man.
Dude, that was perfect timing. Go take a piss.
That was a lot of fun, bro.
We'll do part 2 next time. Thank you for the haircut. You're the man. Appreciate
Thanks,
you, Jeff.
dude.
All right, brother.
Bye, man.
Yeah, it was good. We did an hour.
Wow.
All right. Later, y'all.
Later.